Ever wonder what it takes to live a life creatively? So do we. That's why we're here, to find out what clever people do to succeed in the arts, business, and education. I'm Cecily Korst, and this is the Trailer Talks. We're interviewing artists and educators, musicians, and thought leaders, at home and on the road. So come on, it's going to be a good trip. Hey, welcome to the trailer. Come on in. Today, we're in the trailer with Josh Stecker, an entrepreneur and journalist from San Pedro, California, and we're talking about his creative life. Anyway, Josh.
Yes. What's up?
Tell me about your journey thus far.
Well, I was at my house on Leland, and I drove up 23rd Street and made it there.
Your creative journey.
My creative journey. Oh my gosh. My creative journey. Where do I start? I don't know. I look at my life in like really different, there have been incredibly different chapters to it. I can divide my life chapters into albums and occupations. So like my personal life can be divided up into albums, and my professional life can be divided up into different occupations. That's kind of how I look about it, all the different chapters. But
wow. So it's viewing your life through music?
Completely. I can tell you.
Does it get more creative than that?
Yeah. Well, it's like what caused me to move out to LA when I was 21. I moved out to LA in '97. I was 22 years old, which was my lucky number, which is what I wanted to do. I wanted to move to LA to become an actor at 22 because that was my lucky number. But the thing that prompted me to move to LA was a song. It was a song by REM called "Find the River." And I had the lyrics printed out, and it was hanging on my wall in my bedroom. Mm-hmm. I had it on my wall in my first LA apartment. And it was like, the way the song goes, it was like, I've got to leave to find my way. And that was kind of like the through line through that song. And that was the thing that pushed me that way. So, like Automatic for the People and Monster and all those REM albums, I'm a huge REM fan. Those kind of, I can drum up my life chapters through those. And the Beach Boys are a huge part of my life. Right out of high school, I owned a comic book shop, a comic book baseball card shop. And so I owned that for 5 years, so that was like my little small business journey, but it was creative because it was comic books and baseball cards, and it was cool, and I was a kid still, and it was awesome. And then there was my acting journey, which took me from that back to LA and then to New York, and I was doing that for a while, doing the actor-waiter thing, mostly a waiter thing, but it was fun. And then moving back home from New York, getting into journalism, and that was like the next chapter. And I ended up writing a local magazine and writing for a lot of different publications and just building that career up. And that's what I'm kind of doing right now, along with other things too. I have a theater company and called the Majestica Playhouse. And my 3 friends from high school, or 2 friends from high school, I'm the 3rd friend, we kind of banded together in 2008 and decided we wanted to start a theater company. So we've done a number of shows so far in different nomadic locales in South Orange County, but we've been on the hunt for a space of our own. So that's kind of where, as I sit with you now, we've looked at a number of places that have been empty that we were trying to negotiate a lease with, but nothing's stuck yet. So
may I suggest a trailer?
Yeah, seriously, no joke, man.
Cut out the side, you've got a stage.
It would be awesome. Actually, it's not a bad idea considering all the crazy prices people are asking for rents nowadays. It's not a bad idea. So, but yeah.
So you have that. You have the magazine.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it's like that old In Living Color sketch of the Jamaicans. I have 17 jobs. I feel like I have 20 jobs right now. I have all these different things. So yeah, I run a hyper-local magazine called San Pedro Today. This town is unique in that it has a lot of generational history and a lot of heritage, and it's a place where people know each other. So it's fun to cover it, and that's what I've been doing. So I have that too. Mm-hmm. That's been like kind of that's been the cornerstone of everything that I've done around it. Because I worked at the Hollywood Reporter. I'm a freelance journalist now with them and with Script Magazine, which was a magazine that I was also an editor for at one point, and got laid off from that job at one point. But I'm back contributing. So I have my fingers in a whole bunch of different places. Yeah.
I found you on YouTube too.
Yeah, after I got laid off from Script Magazine, I approached friends of mine who run Trigger Street Productions, which is Kevin Spacey's production company. My friend Dana Brunetti, who's the president of it, we talked, and he wanted to start a podcast network with them, and asked if I wanted to do one. And so yeah, we did it. And so I was interviewing screenwriters for it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I'm still doing. I've been off it for a little bit because Trigger Street has moved on to bigger and better things with their podcast network, and so I'm still going to relaunch it on my own.
When somebody asks you what you do, how do you describe your occupation?
I'm a writer. You know, I started writing when I was in high school, but I really didn't think of it as a career until I was in New York. And that's actually, New York is kind of where like my whole life sort of changed. If there was ever a moment I can pinpoint like this is where my life went this direction, it was when I was living in New York City. And I was there for 9/11. And at that time I was an actor still. And I was doing bit parts here and there. I had a small part in The Sopranos. I was doing auditions here and there. And when 9/11 happened, I realized that acting at that time was very unimportant. It didn't seem like it was it didn't seem like me pursuing an acting career was contributing to the greater whole in a weird sort of way. It really hit me like that.
So with all these creative things that you're doing,
yeah,
what's the creative process like for you?
Well, it's different for everything. The bottom line, though, the common thread that runs through all of it, though, is it's all about telling a story. That's pretty much the common denominator with everything I've done. Whether it be the magazine, I'm telling the stories of this town. Whether it be in theater, I'm telling the story of the playwright. Whether it be in journalism, I'm telling the story of whatever it is I'm writing about. Whether it be interviewing screenwriters for the podcast, I'm telling their journey. They're telling me their story. So that's really what it's all about. In a roundabout way, media is just about storytelling. That's it. Film, television, it's all stories. All it is. And it's weird when you break it down to that because it's a very, very, very tribal thing. You know, it came from storytelling didn't just evolve when the TV camera was built. You know, I mean, the Bible is all stories. You know, whether you believe it or not, it's stories. You know, that's what it is. And so you go back in history. That's all we've been doing is telling stories.
So is everything you do fun?
No.
Okay.
No. Mm-mm. Deadlines suck.
No.
Deadline week sucks with the magazine. If it was all fun, life has challenges. You know, it's not everything's all fun and games. You know, there are things that happen, and of course, I wouldn't have signed up for it if, I didn't want to accept the bad with the good. Yeah.
What was your last year's pinch me moment?
Actually, last year's pinch me moment has nothing to do with any of my occupations or my job. It was because the Beach Boys went on tour, mm-hmm. and it was like all the remaining members, they went on tour, and I saw them twice, saw them at Irvine and Hollywood Bowl, and I was able to take my parents to both.
Very cool. I was at the Hollywood Bowl one.
Yeah, see, mm-hmm. There you go. That was my pinch me moment, to see all of them on stage, which I'd never seen before. This was a band that, I grew up with, and they're everything to me. And seeing that was just awesome. Awesome. That was the pinch me moment. Like, I was like, are they seriously? Is that Brian? Is that Mike? Is that Al? Holy shit. They're all on stage together, and they're not fighting. This is amazing. There's no lawyers. There's no lawsuits right now. Holy shit. They put out an album. Oh my God. And it's a good album, too.
And they sound great.
And they sounded great. It was amazing. And that was the pinch me moment. Yeah. It sounds ridiculous, but that's my pinch me moment. Without a doubt. So, yeah.
So what is success for you?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. Success is what you make it. Just to be happy. That's the best thing. I see people who are working their ass off, in jobs that they bitch and moan about, yet they make a great money, they make a good living, but they're not happy. Like, there's no, like they've settled. They've settled. I hate that word. I hate that word to this settled. I hate it. Settled to me equates with giving up. If you've settled, you've given up.
So what advice would you give to other people who are pursuing a creative life?
do it. There's nothing stopping anybody from doing what they want to do. It's just themselves, you know? Everything I've done on my own. It also comes to how you treat people. The attitude monitors talent. That was something I was taught in acting class years ago, and it's something I've carried on to this day, is attitude monitors talent. You can be the most talented person in the universe, but if you have a shitty attitude about it, nobody cares. It's something that, it's part of the whole thing, you know? Sure, I could have burned bridges with a ton of people. My attitude could have been different being laid off from different places and whatnot. I could have chosen that route, but I didn't, you know, because my attitude is different, you know, and that has led to a much more fulfilling career, if you will. You know, it's not always the talented people that get far. By and large, it's talent plus something, and that something is usually something positive, you know, something good about that person that gives them that extra edge. I've met a lot of talented assholes in my time, and you know, nobody wants to work with them. You know, if you have a choice between work with a really talented asshole or a semi-talented, but they'll get the job done and they're nice or whatever, or something, usually you want to steer towards the person you want to work with, you know? Not the idiot. So that's that. But
be nice.
Be nice, you know? You know, I get called on that a lot. Sometimes I'm too nice and people, you know, take advantage of it, whatever. But, you know, attitude monitors talent. That's, boom, that's a mantra.
That was a peek inside of Joshua Stecker's life and journey. You can find out more about Josh on IMDb, LinkedIn, and his website, sanpedrotoday.com. While you're out surfing, check out our website at thetrailertalks.com. I'm Cecily Korst. Join us for the next road trip.
In and out, nobody gets hurt.
In and out, nobody gets hurt. That was fun.
Cool.